Fundamentally, beer is a product of the alcoholic fermentation by yeast of extracts of malted barley. The process of making beer is known as brewing. The purpose of brewing is to convert malted barley into a sugary liquid called wort. The wort is converted into beer after a fermentation process where yeast is added. The basic ingredients for beer are malted barley combined with water, in addition to the yeast added to produce alcohol. Other ingredients include hops for flavoring and sugar, rice syrup and malt extract for added taste. And for the process.
The process of making beer is known as brewing. A dedicated building for beer is called brewery. True beer can be made it at home. Has been much of its history. A company that makes beer is called either a brewery or brewing company. Beer is made on a domestic scale for non-commercial. Reason is classified home brewing regarding of where it is made. The most home brewer is made at home. The purpose of brewing is cover the starch source into a sugar liquor called wort and to cover the wort into the alcohol beverage known as beer is a fermented process affected by yeast.
The brewery process. First, mashing. In the brewery, the malted grain must first be milled to produce relatively fine particles, which are for the most part starch. The particles are then intimately mixed with hot water in a process called mashing. The water must possess the right mix of salts. For example, fine ales are produced from waters with high level of calcium. The famous pilsners are from waters with low level of calcium. Typically, mashes have a thickness of 3 parts water to 1 part malt and contain a stand at around 65 degrees Celsius, at which temperature of granules of starch are converted from an indigestible granular state into a melted form which is much more susceptible to enzymatic digestion. The enzymes which break down the starch are called amylases. They are developed during the malting process, but only start to act once the gelatinization of the starch has occurred in the mash tune. Some brewers will have added starch from other sources such as maize or rice to supplement that from malt. These other sources are called adjuncts. Hops. The hops have 2 principal components, resins and essential oils. The resins are changed during boiling to yield isoacids which provide the bitterness of beer. This process is rather inefficient. Nowadays, hops oils are often extracted with liquefied carbon dioxide and the extract is either added to the kettle or extensively isomerized outside the brewery for addition to the finished beer. The oils are responsible for the hoppy nose on beer. They are very volatile and if the hops are all added in the start of the boil, then much of the aroma will be blown up the chimney. In traditional lager brewing, a proportion of the hops are held back and only added towards the end of the boiling, which allow the oils to remain in the wort. For obvious reasons, this process is called late hopping. In traditional ale production, a handful of hops is added to the cask at the end of the process, enabling a complex mixture of oil to give a distinctive character to such products. This is called dry hopping. Liquid carbon dioxide can be used to extract oil as well as resins, and this extract can also be added late in the process to make modification to beer flavor.
Fermentation. During fermentation, the wort turns into beer. It can take anywhere from weeks to months, depending on the strength of the beer type and yeast added in the process. Fermentation is carried out in the primary and secondary stages. Primary fermentation lasts between 3 to 5 days and is when the wort and yeast settle, producing alcohol. Secondary fermentation is when the liquid is stored into airtight container for weeks, continuing to ferment. When fermentation is nearly complete, most of the yeast will settle to the bottom of the fermenter. Thank you.
Hi, I'm here to discuss about basic types of beer. The basic types of beer includes ales and lagers. Those beers are similarly in brewing methods and basic ingredients, but they require different types of yeast to ferment the beer. This list breaks down the basic beers into each category. The first one is ales. Ales date back to ancient times, are brewed all over the world, although they are known of being widely produced, assumed, in England. Ales tend to be sweet, full-bodied beers. They can be anywhere from a plain gold to dark, rich brown in color, depending on grain used in the brewing process. The second one is amber ale. Amber ale are similar to pale ales but slightly sweeter. From the excess malt, they are also darker in color, hence the name amber in the place of pale. The third one is bitter. One of the most popular ales in England, bitter contains hops but for more a pleasant aroma than the bitterness. The third one is pale ale. Pale ale is a light-colored beer that is both malty and hoppy. Pale ale from England are often hoppier and even spicy, whereas American pale ales are little higher. The last one is Indian Pale Ale. Indian Pale Ale, known to many simple IPA, is an English ale that dates back into 800s when British brews procured beers with strong amount of hops in order to help preserve the beer during the long shipping times of overseas. At the time, much of this beer was designed for India, hence the name. Those beers are typically golden or amber in color and are known for their bitter aroma and flavors.
The second type of beer is lagers. The lagers is known for its crispy, clean taste. This is in a large part due to the fermentation process, which involves bottom fermenting yeast or yeast that tend to settle on the bottom of the fermenter. This is due to the fact that lager beers ferment at the lower temperatures, from about 45 degrees Fahrenheit to 59 degrees Fahrenheit. As a result of these lower temperatures, the fermentation process takes much longer. In addition, lagers go through a low temperature aging process known as lagering. This helps mellow the beer to create a smoother taste. The second type of lager is Dunkel. Dunkel beer is the original style of German lager beer. Dunkels are dark amber in color with moderate alcohol, strength, and flavor. St. Pauli Girl Special Dark is considered as Dunkel lager. The third type of lager is the Marzen. This type of beer is sometimes called Oktoberfest. Marzen has origin in Monach during 14th century, before refrigeration. At this time, most beers were brewed in March and then kept in natural cold storage. Marzen beer is full-bodied, rich and dark copper in color. Samuel Adams Oktoberfest is a popular style of Marzen beers. And lastly, pale lager. Pale lagers are a very popular style of beer worldwide. These beer are straw-colored and have a mild to medium hop character. Although
many preserve a malty taste in addition to being clean and crispy. These beers are light in color, higher in hops than pale lagers, and not typically high in alcohol.